Welcome back, folks. It's Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. Born on this date, in 1936, R&B singer-songwriter Clarence Carter of Montgomery. Now, anybody in the 1990s who came within a football field of one of those hybrid country pool hall / nightclubs still has that one Clarence Carter song in their heads. Not talking about patches. Today is Ratification Day. On January 14th, 1784, the Treaty of Paris was ratified by the U.S. legislative body. It officially ended the Revolutionary War and meant the U.S. was independent in the eyes of Great Britain and whoever else was paying attention at the time. Today we're talking freestanding ERs, daylight saving time, and the politics of half-staff flags. I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. Another freestanding emergency room has opened in Alabama, this one in Hartselle, reports AL.com's Savannah Tryons-Fernandez. Now, this is a trend we've seen in recent years, with now nearly a dozen freestanding ERs in the state. The freestanding ERs are staffed and equipped as you would expect an ER to be, but they're not part of a hospital facility. They do need to be affiliated with a hospital. Coleman Regional Hospital and the city of Hartselle worked together to open the Hartselle Health Park ER. We're all well aware of the diminishing number of hospitals in rural parts of the state. Now, the president of the Alabama Hospital Association has warned us that freestanding ERs aren't a solution to that specific problem. The freestanding ERs have taken hold in suburbs or places where sprawl or traffic situations make traveling to the hospital inconvenient. AHA President Don Williamson told us for a previous story that in other places where rural hospitals have been closing because they can't afford to stay in business, the freestanding ERs would face that same difficult economic environment that a hospital would. Hartselle, meanwhile, finally has an ER facility in the city limits. That'll save some people the 20-minute drive to Decatur for emergency services. An Alabama state lawmaker has agreed to be bound by a protective order in exchange for having domestic violence charges dropped, reports AL.com's Heather Gann. State House Representative Tracy Estes, a Winfield Republican, was jailed in September on charges of third-degree domestic violence. His wife claims she locked herself in a bedroom during an argument and that Estes threatened to beat her up in an incident that lasted a couple of hours. She claimed that behavior had also happened previously. Now, the court agreement puts a protective order in effect for 2 years and states that if Estes makes contact with his wife, it would amount to a breach of the order. Estes also has to pay court costs and complete a state-certified domestic violence offender program. A breach of the agreement would result in the charges being reinstated. Well, if national politics has a version of Alabama's annual lottery head fake, it has to be daylight saving time. Well, first of all, as the issue comes up, once again, just like it does almost every year, let's clarify the sides of the issue because people often say they hate daylight saving time when that's not what they mean. Daylight saving time is what we're on during the summer. You get an extra hour of daylight in the evening. Standard time is what we're on right now. You're sometimes driving home from work at 5 with your headlights on. Many people would rather not spring forward and fall back every year, so they would prefer to remain on either standard time or daylight saving time. And of those people, it seems that most of them, or at least the most vocal of them, would prefer to remain on daylight saving time. So we have more evening sun during the wintertime. Now, both Alabama's U.S. Senators, Tommy Tuberville and Katie Britt, are backing a bill by Florida Republican Rick Scott that would put us forever on daylight saving time, reports AL.com's Lita Gore. This has been introduced several times before and has made it through the Senate before dying in the House of Representatives. The first question that likely comes up in your mind is this: Why can't we make this change at the state level? And don't some states already deviate from the spring forward fallback cha-cha? Well, per the Uniform Time Act of 1966, Alabama could decide to go permanently on standard time, but not daylight saving time. That's what Hawaii and Arizona do. But that would just mean earlier evenings in the summertime and not affect winter evenings at all, which is the opposite of what the lawmakers are after. Governor Kay Ivey has ordered that U.S. flags at the Alabama Capitol and on state buildings be flown at full staff on President-elect Donald Trump's Inauguration Day, January 20th, reports AL.com's Howard Koplowitz. Now, the move, at least in states under similar orders, apparently relieves Trump of his concerns that he had expressed over flags flying at half staff during his inauguration. President Biden ordered flags to be at half staff for a 30-day period of mourning after President Jimmy Carter's death. That's standard procedure, the 30 days. Trump objected to the order being in place during the change of power, however, taking to social media to claim that Democrats were giddy over the lower flags because they don't love America. Nerdy copy editor side note, people often use the terms interchangeably, but per the AP style book, half-mast is used on ships and naval stations ashore, but half-staff is used on land elsewhere. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. Until then, y'all come by and see what we're up to on the internet at al.com.